Yeah, well, Cabin in the Woods, it was kind of like a new take for Joss Whedon. I mean, obviously he'd done Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he'd he's done the Avengers, he's directed that one, so I pretty much assumed that you would enjoy going to see Cabin in the Woods, which is what I recommend.
I pretty much assumed that I would enjoy Cabin in the Woods as well. I mean, look, I'm a mad Joss Whedon fan. I mean, Buffy, Angel, Serenity, forget about it. Joss Whedon is king. But Cabin in the Woods was a serious misstep. I was so disappointed. It was one of those movies that I actually went to the pictures of recent, because I actually sit at home and watch movies on my laptop in my underwear. But for Cabin in the Woods, I actually said, I gotta go, hon. I gotta go. I gotta see Joss Whedon's new movie. I love Chris Hemsworth, and I just wanted to see a horror movie. They said this was bringing the horror movie back, and actually it set the horror movie back a couple of years.
Maybe it's the marketing side of things, because obviously with things like Fight Club, when that was released, it was targeted at a completely wrong audience, so it brought in people expecting one thing, gave them another. As I didn't read into too much what the film was going to be about, it was much more about going to see it because, well, I work at the Odeon, so I get all of the movies for free.
Yeah, he works at the Odeon, so movies for free. But let me tell you something there, Craig. I mean, first of all, if we look at the marketing campaign of Cabin in the Woods, fantastic. I mean, to make that haunted house look like a Rubik's Cube, I was sold. Yeah? To say that this was going to be the best, the remake, the coming back of horror, I was sold. But then when I went in, and the first shot, or the first sequence with the two guys in the suits, and then it stopped into the freeze frame, I was sold, because it had that 70s look, down to the red type of the letters. It looked like Mother's Day. It looked like, okay, something's really crazy going to happen here. And I waited, and and I'm still waiting.
Okay, so it wasn't as climactic as you thought that would be, but the thing is
I know climax.
The premise of it, I reckon, was good, and it's more of a homage to kind of the classic films, as in like things like Psycho. You can see a lot of that.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
the kids alone in the forest. There's no way back out, and there's all these things.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it now because it's after the film. I mean, it was supposed to be the fact that they take every last bit of the horror genre and flip it on its head by having these people in control of it. Now, maybe on script, on paper, it looked clever. On film, it looked, no.
Because the payoff shot for me was when they suddenly go down into the basement and you see all these creatures and things. Like, you found that to be the worst part?
See, this is why you're as a young man, where you grew up in the digital CG generation, where horror film was completely destroyed. I mean, I go back to the remake of Haunted House on Haunted Hill. Did you ever see that one?
I haven't
with
seen
Tate
that one
Diggs?
yet. No.
Now, this will happen. Craig has never seen anything. So, I say it for the audience, for those who have. House on Haunted Hill with Tate Diggs. This was one of the first horror films that destroyed the whole genre, where they started to bring in CG menaces.
Yes, yeah.
And what happened is that now we grew up where we can actually see the stalker, Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger. But here we have a totally invented creature on green screen, in House on Haunted Hill. Now, the original with Vincent Price, of course he never saw it, the original Vincent Price had this really horrific scene where they're in the dark. People surrounded, they're holding candles, and they're surrounded in the dark, and they're moving throughout the house, and all of a sudden the camera pans over and the old lady's like that. I freaked. I freaked. Okay, now watch. No. I bet you, Craig, if you turn your head and then you turn around. Go ahead, do it. Turn your head, turn to me.
So if I go this way, yeah.
Yeah, and then you turn to me. You see, look at how you freaked. You freaked.
Yeah.